Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gaming Knuckleheads Talk, the show where every time I make a swear, Brent screams Poyo until it gets old and nobody wants to watch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We got some good topics for you tonight, and we're going to start off with a very opinionated one. Popular controllers versus unpopular controllers. Go ahead, Matt, take it away and lead us into this one.
Okay, well, basically, there's a lot of people really like certain controllers, like the Super Nintendo controller, and there's a good reason for that because it's very ergonomic, you know. And but when you compare it to the Nintendo 64 controller, unfortunately, I think Nintendo did make a mistake.
I think
There's
the frog poking me in the dick. Yeah, that seems to be a very popular opinion on the N64 controller that they done fucked up.
Yeah, but there have been I guess you could say redos of it nowadays that you can get from popular third party makers. I can't think of any right now, but
8-bit dough.
yeah, if you get some of those, they're really good, and I think that they kind of redeem the mistakes of what happened to the Nintendo 64 controller.
I got to take this time to just pick on Miyamoto for a second.
Mm-hmm.
As far as he's concerned, the Nintendo 64 controller is perfect and they never make mistakes.
Well, I think they did acknowledge a mistake, though, when they made the Virtual Boy.
They did, but Miyamoto has gotten a little bit more arrogant these days, so I wouldn't be surprised if he were to say, retract that statement nowadays. Especially because a certain someone is no longer alive to put him in his place.
Gunpei Yokoi?
He died too early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I was supposed to warn the audience about. There's some thunder over here, so apologies if there are any technical difficulties.
There's thunder over here as well.
Yeah,
just recently started.
No thunder here.
Lucky you.
No, I was talking about Iwata, Matt. I was talking about Iwata. Yeah. Although, speaking of Gunpei Yokoi, it was either a YouTube video or an article I read. Somebody spoke about Gunpei Yokoi a few years back in the present tense as if he was still alive. I think he died in the 90s, though.
Yeah, because of a car accident.
Yep. For those of you curious, I will give you the exact date. October 4th, 1997, age 56. Okay, now I'm curious about Hiroshi Yamauchi because, it just seems that everybody's... Well, he died in 2013. Why is it the people who work at Nintendo in some of the higher positions die in their 50s? Yamauchi got out early. He was 85 when he died. Yeah. One thing that I am going to say on the controller bit, though, and I don't know if it's just me, and I just don't play PlayStation and Xbox enough to notice the differentiation, but I do notice it between, on the Switch, let me grab my Switch really quick. Or just a Joy-Con, rather. On the Z trigger versus the regular trigger.
Yeah.
It just seems.
You mean the Z and L?
The L and the R buttons so weak that they break way too easily. I hate it when games force use of the L and R buttons because I've never had that issue with the Z trigger. I've never had that issue when I've used a PlayStation controller. But on every Nintendo console or handheld I've owned, consistent use of the L and R buttons in a game that requires them as a main controller, as a main button, they seem to break on every single controller since their introduction on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, on the I think the PlayStation and Xbox have really, they really went all out in making sure that they don't break, because I've never had any problems with those controllers.
That's why I never use my bombs in Splatoon.
Hmm.
Because they're perma mapped to the L button, to the R button.
Yeah.
ZL, you dive into the ink. ZR, you use your special weapon. So I just rapid fire with my dualies, run around, jump.
Mm-hmm.
Then when my special's charged, I use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hopefully, Nintendo will come to their senses and realize they need to make the controllers more durable.
Yeah, I mean, because if they can make their handhelds durable, why can't they, do
Well, they can
the
make
same for
their handhelds durable, but they still can't make the L and R buttons on their handhelds durable. Like, I have my old DSi, and I played games, like pinball games, for example, that use the L and the R button for the flippers.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to literally, I'll use my 3DS as an example. I literally have to blow into here, like a cartridge, in order to get the shoulder buttons on my DSi to work when I'm using it. So, if you're gonna make them weak, don't make games that are relying on them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on popular versus unpopular, Brent?
Well, Matt's already talked about one that I was going to bring up,
N64.
N64, good when you were younger and not playing games too often, but with certain games, it definitely becomes more of a pain, especially on the hands.
Yeah.
Oh. You want to tell the peoples what happened when you beat Metroid Dread in 48 hours?
Pretty sure I put carpal tunnel into both my hands for at least a day.
What controller were you using?
I was using a Switch, but the thing was that the final boss, just because of the way the Switch is, and because of how stressful the final boss is, my hands were so tense when I was fighting that, combine that with the Switch's Joy-Cons, just really messed my hands up.
Didn't you say you thought you were gonna break it if you gripped any harder?
Yeah, I honestly thought I was either gonna snap the Joy-Cons or the actual Switch itself.
And that's why they should have made the Pro controller, I don't know, they just should have done more with the Pro controller.
Well, in Brent's defense, I believe, and stop me if I'm wrong, but usually when you're playing by yourself, you just take your Switch out of the dock anyway, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. For those of you who don't know, Brent actually lives in a 2-bedroom, and sometimes he chills in his guest bedroom. And so sometimes he just lays in the guest bed and plays on a Switch in handheld mode. So not really a good setup for kicking out the kickstand.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, most of the time I use the dock mode, so.
But honestly, in terms of good controllers, definitely do say that I do think Xbox and PS5 definitely are dominant in that area specifically. Don't ask me which one is better because I haven't done enough with both of them to figure out which one is better. They're both different schematics. They have different layouts.
I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I will say I think the PS5 at least holding is actually feels a little bit better, at least in the palm area.
I only witnessed the Resident Evil 4 remake playthrough we did, so I actually haven't gotten to get a feel for the PS5 controller in my hand just yet.
You haven't even touched it. Me and Stefan were the ones who were playing that game.
I know! That zombie swarm at the beginning with, the one with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
I know when I'm going to be taking up the whole damn day just trying to get through a fight.
Fair.
I will sit here, I will witness, I will talk to people on my phone while we are making colorful commentary about the game. That is the extent of what I will be doing during this play session. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, and I gotta double check this because one thing that I've always hated when I play like Metal Slug on the Wii through the anthology,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always holding the Wii remote sideways, and I don't feel like tense or pain in my wrists or discomfort when I'm playing like Super Paper Mario.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with like the Metal Slug anthology, the Metal Slug games, it's such a pain to use the Wii remote sideways. And I haven't tested whether or not it's Pro Controller friendly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have Pro Controllers that I can just plug into the Wii remotes and be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I
Well-
want to get like I have X on my Switch. I want to get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's like 8.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? Hopefully, at some point, I have $40 lying around to marathon buy all 5 at once.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is that like the controller for the Wii, like the sideways controller that you hold it,
Yeah.
I think they were trying to like relive the days of the NES, and I mean, like, you know, in a certain sense. But the
Yeah.
only problem with that is that the NES it wasn't that, like, it had some issues, like when you were playing for long periods of time, you could get like your hands would start hurting. Whereas with like the Super Nintendo controller and others, it wouldn't. You know, they were far more ergonomic.
Yeah. The NES is just like a big like rectangular deal.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, but it was wider, and like on this axis, it was like longer,
Yeah.
like wider than the Wii remote, but on this
Yeah.
axis, it was shorter.
Yeah.
Whereas the Wii remote has the opposite issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems to only be a problem for me, particular based on what game I'm playing, where I can hold the remote sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure, like, if that's like a problem for everybody, or if that's just like that's just your problem, Gear. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's like Nintendo's experimented with controllers the same way they experiment with innovation in general.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I feel like because they do different things with different controllers, you win some, you lose some.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joy-Con Drift, for example.
Yeah.
And as much as I am willing to criticize them for not doing anything about fixing it,
Mm-hmm.
well, and by that I don't mean like they're fixing our controllers. No. By fixing it, I mean eliminating the problem with future. Like they just put out those pastel colored Joy-Cons. You can guarantee that they're made the exact same way the Joy-Cons made all the way back in 2017 were.
Mm-hmm.
And but in their defense, before it was brought to their attention, I wouldn't be surprised if it was an unintentional, unforeseen side effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to go through 2 Joy-Cons.
Knew prior to the Switch's launch that drift was going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I can give them credit on, accidents happen, but that's no excuse not to try to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, because drift, from what I can see, is more just like the internal parts of the controller of the Joy-Cons just degrading over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems to happen way too quickly.
Yeah.
Like people are, that's just wear and tear on the controller. Explain the people who buy a brand new set of Joy-Cons, fresh out of the box, pop them on the system to charge. Once the batteries are fully charged up, they're drifting.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm lucky that my Switch Lite has never drifted, because I saw the video back when the Lite released in 2019 of the person put the Switch onto the bed, took their camera, filmed, and Link was moving on his own without any controller input.
Hmm.
And that was a brand new Switch Lite, fresh out of the box, day one.
Hmm.
So how can you say, wear and tear happens over time, you just got to be more careful, when your brand new electronic is literally defective right out of the box?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, And again, going back to what we said last week about I hope the rumors of Switch 2 are true, because I think that should be the future for Nintendo, because they got a good thing going with the hybridization.
Yeah.
I hope somebody comes to their senses, gives Miyamoto a swift kick in the ass, because God only knows Furukawa's going to do it, not going to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one day, if everyone wants, we'll do a why Shigeru Miyamoto is a problem for Nintendo expose, where we talk about stuff we've read and seen about him in the media, and talk about the problems that he's causing for the company, and why I personally think that Furukawa is just a puppet put in place so he can run from the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's a video for another day, and maybe instead of like a split thing, like maybe like a talk show special or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For now, let's move on to something that I'm going to start out by saying we can discuss the difference between the two, or we can save the difference between the two for another stream. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at like with the announcement of Dimension Shell Shock and Wave 5 coming out on Wednesday and whatnot. I wanted to talk about DLC pricing in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people are gonna want to push the argument that oh, well, DLC is just a microtransaction, when there are clearly differences between the two types.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could discuss that now, or we could just save that for a completely different But I don't know, if that'd be like 2 minutes and then boom, we're done. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys think?
I think we'd be able to have it as a separate topic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to say, for DLC pricing, a good argument to make is what makes the price worth it. Like, for example, I don't do math. I suck at math. And I saw people when the Booster Course Pass was first announced for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you're getting 48 tracks, and it's $25. The math adds up. It is less than $1 per individual track.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no mathematician. I don't know if that's true, but less than $1 per track, 48 tracks, $25. I'm all for criticizing the laziness of Wave 1, but that's still a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, another question, and I leave you two up to answer this based off my example. Can DLC be too cheap? Because remember, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 added the Legend Patrol Pack, which was the entire storyline of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 for $10.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that's United States dollars, USD, for all of our international viewers. Feel free to convert $9.99. Wait, was it $8.99 or $9.99? Because I bought the Legend Patrol pack. I don't remember how much I paid. Point is that too cheap for an entire storyline's worth of content being added into a game?
Well, I don't particularly think so, but then you get into other DLC like fighting game DLC or something, and that's a whole different ball game depending on who's making it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that the way Samurai Showdown is set, I think the first two sets of DLC are like $30 a piece in the Switch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like they didn't package the Season 3 fighters on the Switch into one season. They're all individual, like $5.99 a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but you're more of the fighting game expert than we are. Like Brent and I, we just play the games. You live them, so you're pretty much the expert on whether or not when DLC in a fighting game is too much or too little. So,
well, I'd say in general, like in the ye olden days of like the PS2 and stuff, they would give you
3DLC era.
they would give you so many different characters. Like for Tekken Tag Tournament had
Mhm.
like had at least 30 characters or more, and it was just you pay once and you get them all. And
Mhm.
so I thought, but at the same time, I understand that they have to keep making content. So, and it's a way for them to extend the life of the game beyond just what they initially made.
Yeah. Especially when people are going to eventually want more. Like, for example, Mario Kart was sold very well. That's why they made the Booster Course Pass. The
Yeah.
Booster Course Pass sold very well. People are now speculating, oh, well, is Nintendo just going to up and go ahead and make an extension to the Booster Course Pass the same way that Smash Ultimate got a second Fighters Pass?
Hmm.
It depends, because I know one of the big reasons that people are upset about Mario Kart 9 not being out yet is like Nintendo has always been like one Mario Kart per system.
Mm-hmm.
And they use that one game per system on 8 Deluxe. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say as long as it doesn't interfere with the release of the next Mario Kart on the next system, they could expand the Booster Course Pass, not like by a full 48 unless they wanted to be really crazy and give us like damn near every track under the sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like extending the life of a game. It's like you can let a game live on as long as people want to keep coming back to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you want to put out something new and people are not going to play something new because they have access to something old that they're still enjoying, that's probably not a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I like on the PC, for instance. I like
The
a
what?
lot of times. I said on the PC, for instance.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes when they stop releasing DLC, they release like a mod maker pack,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But unfortunately, you can't do that with like the consoles.
It's actually, I expect that from Nintendo,
Hmm.
but I don't know what Sony and Microsoft's excuses are. To
Yeah.
be fair, Sony is a Japanese company like Nintendo, so they could feel like for all the dumping they do on Nintendo, they could probably, oh, well, we still believe in our country's laws,
Hmm.
But Microsoft doesn't have that excuse because they're an American company. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, they've technically allowed it for games like Halo,
Mm-hmm.
but with the what's called the Forge pack or something, I believe. But most other games don't really have that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a PC only thing, really. So.
Yeah. And of course, you can get just roughly into anything. Like I remember back in like 2012ish, I knew someone who was playing one of the big name RPGs at the time.
Yeah.
And she loved using the naked characters modifier pack. Let me put it this way: I'd rather see a bunch of naked people running around than a bunch of Ugandan knuckles running around. That was the worst mod to ever grace gaming kind. We don't talk about Ugandan knuckles.
No, we don't. But I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, if you ask me if I know the way, boy, I will hitchhike my ass down there.
No, you will not.
Yeah, you're right. I'd rather live. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, let's see, what else in the DLC realm? I did have something else on my mind when we were getting ready to segue into this topic. I lost it already. Oh, I will say that I am looking forward to Dimension Shell Shock. I know it was only just announced recently,
Hmm.
but I am hoping that we get a release date and a price tag pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know they probably need time to develop it, and they did want to release it this year. But I also know that the later in the year, unless it's been in development long enough, there's always a chance of a pushback.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Then again, I've been waiting on Locomotive to release since 2022, and it's still earmarked on Nintendo's website right now for a 2023 release, and it's still not available.
Mhm.
So at this point, what's the holdup with the developers?
Good question.
Yeah, I think Chucklefish, the guy who made Stardew Valley, I think he's one of the people responsible for Locomotive.
Hmm.
I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Well, onward and forward. Our next topic is going to be a very big discussion-heavy one. So people who have not tuned into the stream will have the opportunity to discuss it in the comments.
Hmm.
The pros and cons of online gaming.
Hmm.
All right, Brent, take it away.
All right. Well, I think I'll start with both the pros and the cons, the main ones that come to mind.
Hmm.
First of the main pros is that it basically allows more of, like, even though it's online, it does allow more open to like one's social life. Like, you can make friends and meet more people online. It allows people from different corners of the like globe to actually play a game that you actually like enjoy and have a lot of fun with.
Hmm.
It also helps when in certain areas where, say, like, I'm not going to specify anything, but there were certain like recent events that involved where people couldn't be together, so online is a good solution.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you live together and you just can't go outside, though, you still got the couch multiplayer, so it's really just a matter of, well, what about my friends? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And,
one of the times I'll say thank God for the internet. Yeah.
yeah.
Then, of course, you have the mother of all cons. A bunch of idiotic 12-year-olds thinking it's amusing and cute to tell you what they did to your mother last night.
Hmm.
I was just about to get into the cons. I just wanted to say one other thing is that it also allows games to also add in more options to what they have. Like, if you add online multiplayer, you can bring in some more people into there. Or also allow you to experiment with something. Like, for example, I love the Mass Effect like series, and one of the things that 3 introduced was actually online multiplayer, which actually was, honestly, in my opinion, would still go back and play it.
Hmm.
But now we get into the cons, and as Gear Mo to the first one about it, anyone can get onto online, including immature like children, or, for lack of a better word, complete a-holes.
Yeah. I mean, we're 28 minutes in. At this point, you can swear, and I don't think YouTube will do anything to us.
Oh yeah, true, fair enough. But regardless, that's one of the bigger causes, that like, just as you can find people that you can really like, most of the time you're going to be running into a lot of people who are, annoying.
Yeah.
One con for me personally, and I'm going to share a good story behind this, is the people who take the competitive scene way too seriously.
Hmm.
Like, way back when Splatoon first released in the Wii U, the original one, I got started on Splatfest via the third one, the Hot Dogs versus Marshmallows.
Hmm.
And I don't remember what I was doing on Game FAQs at the time, but between charging my gamepad or waiting for matches, I poked onto the Splatoon boards. There was somebody who was pretty much like, okay, here's what we're going to do. So there are a bunch of kids playing Splatoon, and they don't know how to play competitively because they're kids. So if you see people not abiding by the strategies that the competitive gaming community came up with to win on this map, take down their gamer tag, call Nintendo, and demand that those players be banned. Because they're ruining the game for everyone by not playing at a competitive level.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much why I have, like, unless I know that a competitive gamer is going to be respectable, I have zero respect for the competitive scene. It's like, so a person just wants to go online, play a game online, have fun, and you want to try to ban them when they're not cheating or breaking any rules. You just want to ban them because they're not playing for glory. They're literally just playing to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And considering the kind of person you are, Gear, I can understand where that "fuck you" is coming from.
Yeah. I'm somebody who I have fun playing games. I get frustrated in a single player game if I'm having trouble getting good at a certain jump or a certain level, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if a game is hard but I'm still having fun, that's all the better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And where Nintendo is concerned, it's a family-oriented console. No shit, you're going to have kids playing on the console the same way you're going to have adults playing on the console.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this is the part where everybody jumps down into the comment section post-stream and posts all the kids play PlayStation, adults play Nintendo memes.
Mm-hmm.
But all joking aside, it's like, what do you expect? Like, kids don't always understand the concept of getting good. And they need to practice things to get good because they're still young.
Yeah.
Like, I can do pretty well in some games that I play in my adult. Like, back when I was a kid, I could barely make it to the boss of the tree zone in Super Mario World without help. I just downloaded Game Boy Online and I played through the entire tree zone, and I made it to the boss without losing a life. I think I lost my power up during the fight because I jumped too soon. But the point is that, like, when I was a kid, I didn't know everything about games. As an adult, I know more than I did when I was younger. Yeah. Like in a Splatoon match, if somebody is better than me, my team's going to lose. If somebody is at my skill level or lower, I have a better chance of being matched up with more skilled gamers. But I can tell you, I've gone through matches where I only get splatted like once or twice. So I got the controls, and I'm one of those people who doesn't even use gyro controls. I've made the analog controls work for me. Yeah. It's like, but yeah, it's like the competitive gaming scene, when they get extremely toxic or elitist, that is a massive, massive con.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Like when I'm playing, like I played Street Fighter 6 a lot, and I did play the online ranked mode, which is the competitive mode.
Right.
And I did enjoy that, but some nights it's really bad with the toxic people.
Yeah.
Like they'll taunt you or something like that, and just like be, that they just won't be good sports.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes me not want to play the game because I'm just there to, have a good time, but also, get better.
And that's what we like about like being able to like game with you. It's like all three of us were big on having fun, and we playfully taunt and screw with each other when we play games together.
Yeah.
Like, remember that time, like, you were holding the bomb in the alt bomb mode, and Smash was like, "Let me have it," and you were like, "Okay," and you threw it at me and blew me across the stage.
Yeah.
In my defense, I asked for it.
You did. You did.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and bear in mind, competitive gaming, like the toxicity of competitive gaming, is what led to the death of Andrew. His name was either Fine or Rich. I'm gonna look it up really quickly.
Yeah.
Andrew Fine, Andrew Rich. What am I doing on Wikipedia? I should be on Google.
Yeah.
Andrew Rich doxing. Okay, I think it was fine because I'm not finding anything on under the name Andrew Rich.
Yeah.
I am finding people with these names on LinkedIn. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the point is that this guy, he wasn't even a gamer, and he was gunned down by a SWAT team because one overly competitive jackass didn't like that another gamer was not playing on his competitive level.
Yeah.
Of course, that
Yeah.
gamer was a jackass because he pulled the first address he could find somewhere in the United States that wasn't his, just to mess with jackass number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
Now if like doxing and swatting was up in the ranks, like if that happened more often due to competitive gamers, at that point I would sign any and all petitions to limit online gaming, or even say put in like, okay, anyone who is caught on our voice chats threatening to dox somebody and we actually find out they did it, you'll be permabanned from playing through our online servers on any game. You got to start putting the toxic people in their place if you want to make people are going to be assholes. It's just a fact of life. But when they're trying to cause problems for people who are just there to have a good time and have fun, that's when they need to be taken down a peg. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm glad I joined this one community that like is for Street Fighter, but they're like really good about banning anybody who's toxic in the game and stuff like that. And we all get together and play matches and stuff like that. So
that is awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean,
my
we
tea's
still.
almost done when I'm slurping. I said, my tea's almost done when I'm slurping.
But yeah, it's it's important when you do want to be competitive to find a good group like that helps you and is against any toxic stuff, and it just enlivens your day and everything.
Yeah, it's like I went like on the old channel when I was doing the Turf War Tuesdays in Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
The very first night, the second night of Turf War Tuesdays, somebody came in to the chat and asked if they could play with us.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a friend of my ex's at the time, because she was friends with my friends, I was friends with her friends, etc., etc. We went through friends. Anyway, it's like I told her like, oh hey, so yeah, I had a really fun. Like apparently this person is a very competitive person. Like they play in the competitive scene. Like this is what they do for a living. They play Splatoon online with people. And when I said the username of the person on YouTube, oh my god, I know that person. You play like I didn't even like. Rosie was the one who said, "Hey, I know that person. They're a professional Splatoon player." This person was not toxic. This person is still on my Switch friends list. Like this person literally came in, played some rounds with us. And when we were done, this person was pretty much just like, oh yeah, I had a fun time. I'm looking forward to playing online with you guys again. Even when we were getting our asses kicked. This person was still being a good sport about it. It was very nice. It was very refreshing. Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Exactly. So it's like...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because when you get people who just want to lift you up instead of tear you down, it can just make you want to play the game more and more and more, and that's what it should be about.
Exactly. I've always thought of gaming as a way of bringing people together, especially in the multiplayer sector. And one of the reasons that I love Nintendo more than Microsoft and PlayStation is even when the latter two offer couch multiplayer options, nobody gives a fuck. But with Nintendo, you see more people gathered around the couch than going online. And it's like, whether you're online or on the couch with a group of people, gaming is supposed to be about getting together and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, and online gaming is, like Brent said, a very good way to connect people around the world. Find like-minded gamers. Like, if I was in online communities and I was invited into multiplayer circles with those people, and we were all getting along, I would look forward to playing with them too. Yep. Anyway, just because we got a little bit more time, I think we can bring in that DLC versus microtransactions for a bonus lightning round topic.
Okay.
My opinion on the matter: if you buy it once and you permanently own it, it's DLC. If you have to pay for it over and over and over, or in the case of like cosmetics, where new cosmetics come out and you keep having to feed them a steady stream of money, that's more of a microtransaction. The difference between microtransactions, though, or the cosmetics, are forever. The other stuff is temporary. Give us more money. Yeah. So it's like when Breath of the Wild first came out, and people were talking about how Breath of the Wild's getting some DLC. Is Odyssey next? Don't forget that Amiibo Toad guy has a map that looks like Bob-omb Battlefield. Somebody actually had the nerve to say, I'm not paying $60 for a game where I have to pay for a microtransaction like the microtransaction coming to Breath of the Wild. They should have completed the game by putting all that content in first. You want to know what shut that argument down and got that person not to respond unless they were a troll?
What?
People showcasing they were putting in 150 hours in the base game alone. Does that sound like an incompleted game to you?
Nope.
Yeah, and it's like there was more to the content than just like premium currency. Yeah. It's like, well, I'll bring up the Mario Kart bit for example. It's like you can pay for premium rubies in Mario Kart Tour, and then you can buy stuff that's not available with in-game coins. Like there's a very limited number of carts, characters, and gliders that you can buy with coins. Everything else, including every single Mii racing suit, you need the premium currency for. Yeah, but it's like with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, $25, and you're getting, even though it's being released over time, which I know is an annoyance for some people, you're getting double. They're doubling the amount of content for $25.
Yeah.
How is that predatory compared to constantly having to buy rubies to get more characters? And I will give Mario Kart Tour credit. In the early days, I played it when it first came out. It was a complete gacha system, and it was completely pay to win. Like you would not be able to complete a tour unless you were spending money on microtransactions to improve your characters and play the gacha consistently. The addition of the store and the addition of, like, you start out, 7 cups are available on the day of a new tour. From days 2 through 8. Like the first week, they unlock the remaining 8 cups. Like just this morning, I finished the last cup of the night tour. In 2020, I would not have been able to make the last cup unless so. It's still a little predatory, but at least they fixed so it's not all pay to win and not all gacha.
Yeah.
Yeah. You two, go.
Well, I think microtransactions in mobile games, usually they are very predatory. And like compared to but in some games like they have like DLC that's necessary to complete the story or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that good either, but
Fantasy Life on the 3DS had an expansion to the story, but it was not necessarily the base in-game story.
hmm
You could complete without the DLC. Origin
Yeah.
Island just expanded upon the base story by adding additional areas to explore and additional ranks for your characters.
hmm
So I guess that wouldn't count towards being problematic.
hmm
What about you,
Yeah,
Brent?
if it's
Well, Gear, I think you summed it up like the best when you first said it. Like, DLC is basically if you buy it once and you have it forever, that's DLC. But if you have to buy it multiple times, then it's a microtransaction.
hmm
I will end on a hilarious note. Everybody remember what Take-Two did when Belgium banned some of their games?
mm mm
They were literally on their knees. Please, please ask the Belgian government to undo its rules on gambling and video games so we can nickel and dime you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now I remember that.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's all coming back to me.
Take the L.
Mhm.
Just admit that, okay, we fucked up with loot boxes. It's predatory. It's bad. We should be the leading example and stop doing it so that Belgium will let their citizens play our games.
Mhm.
I've got a bit. Take
Yeah.
two, take two, please. Save your dignity, just take the L. What is dignity?
Something that way too many game studios don't have.
Exactly.
All right, that's all for tonight. We will see you next week with more topics, more tea in the Mario mug, and yeah. All right, well, let's see. Today's Thursday, so expect another Let's Play tomorrow. And no promises, but fingers crossed. We're trying to get the Sunday streams back up and running on the 10th. Am I doing the numbers right? Or is it the 9th as a Sunday? Everybody, check your calendar.
The 9th
Yeah,
of Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9th is Sunday.
So hopefully we'll have all the goods up and running. But until then, see y'all next time.
Goodbye.
See ya.